Hi, everyone. My name is Robin Kardon, and I've been a member of Women in Aviation International since 1997. Writing as R.D. Kardon, I've published 2 novels about what it's like to live the life of a female pilot. I'm a fixed wing ATP with 3 type ratings and a commercial instrument helicopter rating. I've flown as pilot in command in Part 91, Part 135, and Part 121 operations. And during my professional flying career, I flew all over the world. I wanted to write authentic novels about the actual life of female pilots, women who wanted to have full careers and full personal lives. And in these novels, it was important for me to highlight some of the special challenges facing female pilots as well as their triumphs. Both of my books are told from the perspective of female pilot Tris Miles. My debut novel, Fly Girl, book 1 of the Fly Girl series, is based on actual events I experienced when I became the first woman in an all-male corporate flight department in the 90s. In Fly Girl, Tris faces the challenge of transitioning to faster, more complex equipment and encounters on-the-job harassment and discrimination. Like so many of us, Tris's passion for aviation was kindled at a very young age. Let's learn how her love of flying got started in this passage from Fly Girl, and I'm reading from page 10. Tris watched a 747 on final approach above her, its 4 engines hanging off the wings, massive gear assembly down. It probably moved at 160 knots, but it appeared to float toward the runway. The majesty of this enormous jet had awed Tris ever since she was a little girl. Grandpa Ed had introduced her to flying. On Sundays, he would come over early and have breakfast with Tris and her parents. Her mother would make blueberry pancakes that had a secret ingredient Tris still didn't know. "Let's go, Princess Patricia. Let's see the miracle of flight," he'd say, as he wiped his mouth and drained his cup of black coffee. She'd jump from the table, kiss her parents goodbye, and run out to Grandpa's truck. They'd make the 2-hour drive from the tiny town of Pittston to the big city airport. Tris would watch the cornfields roll by as Grandpa's old pickup bounced along with his hands locked in the 10-2 position on the steering wheel. When the terminal doors opened, she would run to the plate glass window looking out over the ramp, pressing her nose up against the glass and trying to rub it against the bullseye tip of a 747 parked at the gate. White with a red stripe, it had the letters TWA painted on the side. "Grandpa, it's so big. How can it fly?" He'd smile down at his only grandchild. "That's the miracle, Princess." So Tris leaves her job at a commuter airline to fly luxury business jets in corporate service. A crusty ex-military pilot who doesn't trust women in the cockpit yet is assigned to train her. Here she is on her first flight as a jump seat observer at her new company, reading from page 68 of Fly Girl. Dieter turned his head to the side momentarily, then swiveled around to face Tris directly. "So, how exactly did you get this job?" Ross's head shot straight up, then bobbled like one of those dolls in the rear windshield of a car. "I submitted a resume. I interviewed." Caught off guard, her response sounded sarcastic, but that's exactly how it happened. "Yeah, we heard about that interview." Ross stared at Dieter like the older man had lost his mind, but it didn't stop him. "We weren't invited, were we, Larry?" Dieter turned to Ross, who looked as if speaking would cause him physical pain, his expression a mix of shock and fear. Ross finally said something like, "Oh, come on, Larry," Dieter continued. "You know that one day they just told us they'd hired her and when she was starting. They promised we'd get a chance to meet all potential new hires, and then she just shows up." He paused to sip his coffee. "Nothing personal, of course," he said. Ross searched maniacally for something in his briefcase. Dieter's glare never left Tris. She looked right back at him and said, I really wanted to meet you guys too. I was sure I'd enjoy flying with you. I'll bet Dieter's exasperation was palpable. You know, we had a lot of guys who wanted this job, guys with military experience, jet experience, years and years of flying crap for substandard outfits, waiting for a chance like this. He paused for effect, then spat, and they chose you. Well, the relationship between Triss and her training captain doesn't start out well, but remember, things aren't always as they appear. In my second novel, Angel Flight, book 2 of the Fly Girls series, Triss's story continues while she competes for a promotion with a male coworker, has a workplace relationship, and faces the prospect of losing her medical. Both Fly Girl and Angel Flight celebrate women who fly, military pilots who have served their country, and all of the talented aviation professionals they come in contact with. I was propelled to write my books by my experiences and the experiences of women like me. So my question is, what propels you? Thank you so much.